Did you know that starfish don't have anuses?
What the fuck?
You're welcome. Fact of the day.
First of all, why would I know that? I'm not a marine biologist. Second, why do you know that?
I don't. I made that up.
What the fuck?
But now you're thinking about it. And so is everybody else. I've controlled you. Look what happened.
This is the Matrix.
And I'm Neo.
I'm just that innocent bystander that gets killed for no reason.
I'm not Neo.
Everybody thinks they're Neo in their own story.
Everybody's Neo.
Just like everybody thinks they're Harry Potter of their own tale.
I am Harry Potter.
I am none of these things.
I'd rather be Neville.
Yeah. Yeah. He has a good little
Just
art.
kidding. I'd rather be Ron.
I would just be that kid in the background of, like, Hogwarts, just being like, dude, I just want to do my schoolwork and learn magic. Why are you guys, like, fucking everything up? Why do I have to go and join this battle when all I'm trying to do is learn how to do potions? Like, what the fuck?
Remember that video we watched earlier?
Which one?
Dumbledore. Makes a lot of sense.
It does. Dumbledore is death.
Look it up, people.
It makes the most sense. Just like Yue in Avatar.
Oh my god.
Was supposed to be the next Avatar. That's why she was born without life. A healthy baby born without life because she was supposed to be the next Avatar. But Aang was still holding the Avatar.
Fucking Aang.
Damn it, Aang.
God. Anyways.
Obviously, I'm feeling better this week. So, we're actually going to be able to put out an episode. Yay! So, welcome back to Another Nightmare.
Welcome.
I'm Danny.
I'm Bryan.
And this is the podcast where I tell Bryan, my boyfriend, creepy stories about haunted stuff and shit. Because it's some of our favorite stuff.
I like to learn about the history of the spookies.
I just like history and spooky stuff. So combine them, and here we are.
Okay.
So.
One more. Well, what are we learning about today, Danny?
We're going to talk about a place that's in a place.
What?
That neither of us have ever been to.
Nuh-uh.
Which does not narrow down anything. Because we haven't been very far.
Interesting as fuck.
We are going to visit New Orleans.
Louisiana.
And the Sultan's Palace.
The Sultan's Palace?
Yes.
What is the Sultan's Palace?
It's a long story.
I guess I'll have to listen. Like usual.
Like the rest of you. Although I'm sure some of them know what the Sultan's Palace is.
I'm always listening.
Just like the government.
Hey, shh. They're listening.
Hi, FBI agent. Stop looking at my browser history.
Keep looking at mine.
So, in New Orleans, in 1836, a dentist named
Good year.
1836?
Sorry, I just wanted to interrupt.
Yeah, I should know. So, a dentist named Joseph Colin Gardet built a home at 716 Dauphine Street in the French Quarter.
Hell yeah.
Within a few years, he decided to sell the house, and it was bought by a Jean-Baptiste Lepre for $20,049
what a steal.
1839.
No, not a steal.
In 2019 money, because the inflation calculator that I found went to 2019 instead of 2020. So $20,049 in 1839 equaled out to about $487,435.81 in 2019. So that was a nice chunk of change, essentially.
Yeah.
So, Lepre was a wealthy bank merchant and a plantation owner. Upon purchasing the home, he commissioned a builder to add the ornate wrought iron lace to the balconies, giving the home its iconic look. And, like, seriously, the balconies are super beautiful. All that wrought iron, and it's got that classic French Quarter look that New Orleans buildings have.
I wish I knew what I was looking at.
You've seen photos of New Orleans. You know what?
How do you know?
Because you're a human being that exists.
All right, that's right.
In the time of social media.
I've seen Disney World.
So Lepre and his family used this as a winter home during what is known as the New Orleans season.
The New Orleans season?
Yeah, so it's like a winter home type
It's a
deal.
winter wonderland.
At least I think that's what like New Orleans season refers to, is like, so it's
Okay.
like the snowbirds, like all the old people that live here and then go to Arizona for the summer, or for the winter, I mean.
The cool guys. I want to go to Arizona in the summer.
Gross.
August.
No.
And just walk outside and just hang out. Go out on the town. Sorry, back to the story.
I don't want to go to Arizona in the summer. I fucked up. Why do you have to make fun of me for not being able to speak?
If I didn't, who would? Who would, Danny?
Everybody else.
But if I didn't.
When the Civil War broke out in the 1860s, Lepre...
What year? Sorry. I'll be quiet.
In the 1860s, his financial stability crumbled and he could no longer maintain the upkeep of the house.
Darn.
So out of desperation, Lepre decided to lease the home on Dauphine Street. So a man of Middle Eastern descent approached Lepre, claiming to be the brother of a sultan who was interested in leasing the property.
That's what they all say.
I just need you to send me $5,000 now as insurance claim so that I can send you the $10 million later. It's all gonna work out. Don't worry. Just send the $5,000 and don't ask questions. Yes, there are thousands of Nigerian princes looking for help to hide their father's vast fortune. Just like there's millions of sultans looking to lease property in New Orleans.
There's always been millions of sultans, if you know what I mean.
So, this man claimed to be the brother of the sultan who was interested in leasing the property.
Chia.
Lepre, of course, he was desperate for cash, so he agreed, and soon a ship arrived at port.
Hell yeah.
It was quite a spectacle for the people of New Orleans. There were beautiful women dressed in silks and satins of beautiful, vibrant colors. There were eunuchs dressed in dark military clothing, each carrying a bayonet. When the Sultan himself emerged from the ship, he was followed by tons of furniture, beds, vases, portraits, and rugs, all ornately designed and absolutely beautiful.
So this dude's a straight up sultan.
Yeah, and it was
so far.
It was like this beautiful like parade as they carried all of this beautiful wealth through the streets, and people gathered to watch it.
Hell yeah.
So the procession made their way to the Garde-Lepre mansion and disappeared inside. Soon, heavy drapery was put up so no one could see the goings-on inside the house. The gates were locked and there were guards posted around the property at all hours.
Wow. Fishy.
Over the next few months, the house was a hub of activity. Every night, the neighbors heard music and laughter coming from inside the building.
I want to go.
Occasionally, they heard the sounds of... Pause for dramatic effect. Pleasure. Eyebrows.
In the 1860s?
Yes.
Whores!
They even claimed to smell opium wafting through the open windows mixed with the scent of incense. So, your typical Turkish party of what people in America at the time thought Turkish parties were like.
I want to go so bad.
Of course, this could just be jealousy, since none of the neighbors were ever invited to these lavish parties.
Man, I'd be pretty fucking jealous. Like, oh man, this sounds so cool.
They're all just smoking opium and having premarital sex. I'm not jealous, you're jealous.
Man, it smells good over there.
The house became known as the Sultan's Palace, and locals were never allowed inside.
What a cool guy.
Any goods that were being delivered to the house were to be left on the doorstep, and payment in the form of gold would be left in its place the following morning.
Okay, all right.
I mean, that takes no contact delivery to a whole nother level.
Oh, you give it to me today.
I'll pay you
tomorrow. There will be gold on the front step tomorrow. Hope you're there to get it. Someone could just walk by.
That's the thing is so nobody really saw people coming in and out of this house, ever. And that was the thing is even people delivering milk didn't see people because there was the heavy drapery. They would come up and they would just leave the shit on the doorstep, and then they would have to come back the next day to retrieve their payment. And again, they would come up to the doorstep, and where they'd left, the milk would be this sack of gold for them to take. And they wouldn't be able to see inside, and they would just, grab their gold and leave.
Man, it's so secluded.
Right?
I just want to know what's going on.
I think everybody in New Orleans wanted to know what was going on in there.
I hope they find out.
Well, obviously, huge parties from the noises that everybody heard.
I just want to go to the parties.
So then, one night, some months later, a huge storm hit the city. Everyone shut themselves inside their homes while the wind blew through the streets and lightning cracked overhead. The next morning, the sky was clear and all seemed well. People emerged from their homes to go about their daily lives, but one man was in for quite a surprise.
I have no guess.
He was out for a walk around the French Quarter, but upon passing the Sultan's palace, he noticed something terrifying. Blood was coming out from under the front door and was trickling down the front step.
What the fuck?
The man ran to notify the police.
What were the guards doing?
They were inside.
Oh, shit. I thought the guards would be outside.
They were inside.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, there had been a huge storm.
Yeah.
Couldn't leave your guards out in the storm.
I mean, you can. It sucks, but you can.
So this is where the story takes a severe turn.
Oh, I'm so interested. Oh, God.
So what they found inside was something out of a nightmare.
Yes.
Nightmare.
Another nightmare. Sorry. Just thought I'd plug us.
It's so meta.
Damn it.
There were corpses everywhere.
Yeah, fuck yeah. All right.
Some were flayed open, and others were completely dismembered, and body parts were strewn throughout the home.
This is the shit I like. You found a foot in the kitchen, and that's all they found was feet in the kitchen, right? That's where the
One
feet...
foot in the kitchen.
No.
Yeah.
That's where they find the feet.
I don't know. I didn't see crime scene photos or anything.
I need to... Photos? No, there was photos. Anyway.
So it looked as though some sort of beast had torn the bodies apart and literally thrown the pieces around.
I've never heard of this. This is awesome.
The floor was completely coated with blood, and the officers that went inside reported that they had trouble walking because there was so much of it.
Oh, just slipping and sliding.
Yes.
Oh, no.
A lot of the officers that showed up to the scene were not even able to enter the home. As soon as they saw the destruction through the doorway, they began vomiting and refused to enter. Many others would enter the home and become overpowered by the scent of blood, and they would have to go back outside and vomit.
Yeah, I'd probably take one look and be like, nah, I'm good.
In today's standards, this would be a horrifying crime scene to find. In 1860s or 1870s, yeah, this is...
unheard of.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is brutality.
Bloodshed in America?
What? Not in our civilized nation! Our founding fathers would never stand for such atrocities.
Reveille! Wrong time, but whatever.
Boule!
Further. I like all of it, though. Huzzah! That fucking works.
Yeah.
Huzzah's still around. Come on. I'll give a huzzah if the speech is good enough. Oh man!
So as the police made their way through the home and out to the courtyard, they saw what they thought was a glove on the ground and went to gather it as evidence. But upon approach, they realized it was something much more sinister. It was a hand sticking out of recently disturbed soil, as if clawing for life.
Oh man, they
the
almost
Sultan himself had been buried alive in the courtyard.
What the who the fuck did this? Oh my gosh. I thought for sure the Sultan would have been behind it. Just, dude went crazy. Just like, I've got all the power.
But he was buried alive.
Yeah, that's the worst shit ever.
Everybody else in the house was cut to pieces. At the very least, disemboweled. And he was...
I like that that's the very least.
He was taken to the courtyard and buried alive. Ugh. Do you know how hard it is to bury a person alive?
Well, especially if they're kicking and screaming.
That's what I'm thinking, is like...
They could have knocked him out.
Maybe they did.
We don't know.
We don't know. We weren't there.
Man.
I was not a part of this brutal catastrophe.
Talk about needing a time machine for, insignificant things. Yeah, no, I just want to go back and watch this fucking unfold. What? Yeah. No, that's all I want to do.
I still stand behind my idea that if I get a time machine, I'm literally going to go back and just ask questions about mythology. So that I can have a pure understanding of mythology. Rather than the Christianized versions that we get today.
See, I'd want to go back and fuck shit up on purpose just to see an alternate future. I would be bad with a time machine. I'd be the bad guy, the villain that the good guys in the time machine come to kill because I'm just...
You're like...
I'm changing history. That's what's happening.
That's like
everything's changing.
That's like the one rule of time travel is you're not supposed to alter history.
That's the one rule I would be only breaking all the time. All the time.
See, I only want to try time travel for more pure knowledge of what was happening in history.
Well, you're cool.
No, I'm obsessed with the idea of knowing literally everything and having the purest answer that I can have. And that's literally not how history works. And it's my favorite subject, and it drives me insane that I can't have the exact, how did they build the pyramids? Well, we think. No, motherfucker. How did they do it? Tell me a step-by-step process, every name that was involved, and let me know exactly how it went. I don't want theory. I want answer.
I know how they built the pyramids.
Aliens.
No.
No.
Your mom.
Mom? You helped them? And you didn't tell me?
She doesn't know.
Hey.
Your mama.
Did have a past life in Egypt, according to a past life reading.
And this was a fun tangent.
So during the investigation, it was revealed that the man claiming to be the Sultan was actually the brother of the Turkish Sultan that had stolen his brother's treasure and harem and fled to New Orleans.
Oh, shit. So his brother was like, send some assassins.
It seems that the real Sultan had finally caught up to his brother and exacted his revenge.
Talk about some revenge.
Or at least sent assassins to do it for him.
Well, and if I know anything about the Sultans, yeah, they'd fucking kill him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You had to fight for the throne. You had to fight your brothers for the throne.
Yeah.
So why the fuck not would you kill someone imitating you?
Yeah.
Like, no sweat off my brow.
Well, especially because, like...
Unibrow, am I right? Sorry.
So, but he also, like, stole the treasure and the harem. So he stole all of his money and all of his women and was like, peace out, and ran away to New Orleans.
I'm sure he could get more money and more harems, but I'd be pretty upset too.
Well,
like,
yeah.
I liked that fourth one. Jeez. Fourth one was my favorite.
The police, however, placed the blame for the massacre on pirates that had come to port the day before the massacre and had promptly left early that morning before the discovery of the scene.
Wow, we're really fucking good. Pirates.
They claimed that the pirates had heard of the vast fortune kept in the home, and under the cover of the storm came swashbuckling in and stole everything of value while wreaking havoc on the unsuspecting inhabitants.
Pirates.
But to this day, no one truly knows who committed the terrible crime.
Dang it. Oh, man, I'm going with the Sultan.
It would make more sense.
Yeah, to me, I mean, it could have been pirates, but I really don't see pirates just massacring everybody just for the treasure. I mean, I think if they were there, they'd be like, they would kill a few people, sure, but then they'd probably just take the shit and get the fuck out. That's what I would think.
I mean, there's some pirates that might have committed something like this, you know.
Name them.
The French guy.
Nope, doesn't count.
If you give me a second, I can't think of his fucking name. Whatever, doesn't matter.
The French guy?
I can't think of his fucking name.
But
the guy that was like super into karate people just for the sake of karate people.
I forgot his name too.
I know his name. It's just right now because I have other French names in front of me. It's gone.
I got other French things to French pay attention to.
Yeah. So it's gone right now. But the problem is that he was in the time of the Buccaneers. So
and this is way after that.
Yeah. This is like almost 200 years later.
Man, I just, the whole pirate excuse, I don't, anyway.
And so there is a slight problem with the whole story.
Okay.
So there's no evidence.
Fuck.
There's no records of a supposed sultan coming to New Orleans.
What?
There's no evidence of him coming with an entourage of treasure and women. There's no evidence of the bloody massacre. There's no newspapers detailing the ornate arrival of the sultan nor his subsequent murder. There isn't even any good evidence that Lepre even rented the house out at all to anybody.
What the hell? What the fuck? So technically, we have no idea if this even happened.
Yeah, there's no evidence.
Is it just like a story that happened and it got passed down through the generations?
We're about to talk about that.
Hell yeah, I'm excited.
So, there are several other versions of this story. It seems the earliest source for the story of the mysterious stranger moving in comes from a chapter in Charles Gaillard's, I think that's how you say it.
It's perfect.
Book, History of Louisiana. The chapter is called Tree of the Dead and is in reference to a date tree on the corner of Dauphine and Orleans Street, which is where the Grade-Lepre mansion stands now.
Okay.
However, the story takes place in 1727 and doesn't mention a mansion, but a small, modest house with a beautiful garden. According to this, after the murder, a marble tablet with an Arabic inscription was sent to France claiming, quote, the date tree shall grow on the traitor's grave.
Ooh.
And soon after, a date tree sprouted from the grave.
That's pretty freaking cool.
So to me, the timing of this story makes more sense to the authorities them blaming pirates, since it's more in line with the golden age of pirates.
Yeah.
even though 1727 is a little late in the game for like the swashbuckling nomads that plagued the coast of the West Indies. But this isn't the grand story of the bloody massacre. Just a story of one trader being buried alive in a garden.
Brutal.
So the idea that pirates buried him alive doesn't really work. It's just one guy getting buried alive, and then a tablet was sent to France claiming a date tree will grow on his grave. And then a date tree grew on the grave.
They planted some dates. They had to.
I learned something slightly disturbing.
About?
Trees. If you have a tree that is green, when all of the other trees around it have started to turn color, most likely there's a body buried under that tree.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know if it's true. It's just something I heard this week.
I want it to be true. I want to go find living trees in a circle of dead. This is awesome.
So it isn't until 1922 when Helen Pickett searches
Satra.
shirts? I don't know. Book called The Legends of Louisiana brings a massacre into play.
Ooh.
Here, the legend takes place in 1792. Okay. The story gets amped up to have the great display of wealth coming in from the ships and the reveal that the man is the Sultan's mischievous brother who absconded with his riches and women.
But there's no possible way she could have actually known, right? The author that did that?
Well, she's writing about it in 1922.
So that's way, way later. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this book also brings up hauntings of girlish laughter, music, and a man's pleading groans.
Ooh.
So the largest issue for this particular story is, of course, the year.
Right.
The mansion wasn't even built until 1836, so it couldn't have been around for the massacre in 1792.
What the fuck?
So, I mean...
Someone's a little off.
Yeah. The only real truth to the story is the Lepre's financial issues.
Okay.
So, the Civil War had been a burden on the family, but they continued using the home until it was foreclosed upon in 1878. This foreclosure was done by Citizens Bank, which, somewhat ironically, Lepre had helped found in the parlor at the home at 716 Dauphine Street.
Man, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But I helped found the bank. Yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, but you owe us money.
But I give us your house.
Yeah. So
America.
Yeah, so there's no evidence.
This is interesting. I really liked that the story just kind of came up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it showed up, first in Charles, whatever his last name was, History of Louisiana. But it was just the story of one death and a date tree,
Right.
And then in 1922, Shirts, whatever, picked it up with Legends of Louisiana and took it up a notch.
Hell yeah.
The problem with her story, like I said, is the year, because she's claiming that it took place in the mansion in 1792, but the mansion wasn't even built.
So she's just like, I'm just in it for the money. I mean,
probably.
Buy my book.
But yeah, so it's a good story. And despite the lack of evidence, the legend of the Sultan's palace carries on. It is now fully cemented into the lore of New Orleans, and to this day it is included in several of the New Orleans haunted ghost tours. I
like that. I'd rather take the fabricated awesomeness over the reality.
Well, it's a fun story, and it's gruesome.
Well, yeah, it's got a massacre.
Yeah, people love stories of bloody massacres. I mean, why do you think Game of Thrones was so fucking popular? It's because everybody got fucking murdered.
I thought it was because the Durgans. Maybe.
So I actually did find this particular version of the story on one of these websites called ghostcitytours.com. They offer ghost tours around New Orleans, and their Ghost of New Orleans tour does stop by the mansion. So if you're interested, go to ghostcitytours.com and check them out.
Hell yeah.
Shout out, non-spawn.
Non-spawn.
So, in the 1940s, the New Orleans Academy of Art moved into the building, but was closed down shortly after when too many of its students were drafted into World War II.
Mm.
Then the mansion became home to many of the homeless living in the area. It stayed like this until it was purchased in 1966 by Frank D'Amico and Anthony Visich Jr.,
Good job, baby.
with the intention of turning the building into an apartment building.
Ooh, okay.
They restored the home and converted it into 6 apartments. And this is the way that the building is today, just under new ownership. So you can't go into it on these tours, but they will walk you by it. It is a private residence. It's 6 different apartments, but, you know, it's privately owned. People actually live there. It's their home, so you can't go inside.
Right.
But the purchase of the home in 1966 is where the reports of hauntings begin. So one night in 1979, Frank D'Amico and his wife were living in the penthouse of the building.
Fuck yeah, they were.
She had gotten into bed one night when she witnessed a dark figure standing at the foot of her bed.
Ugh.
It began to approach her, gliding over the floor. She panicked and turned on her bedside lamp. Smart lady, would have done the same personally. And when she looked back, the figure was gone.
Of course, those darn figures.
It's how it always is, too. Fucking, or you see that dark shadow out of the corner of your eye, and as soon as you look over, there's nothing there, but you're like, I swear to God, there was something fucking there.
It would be worse, though, if that didn't happen. Like, if you...
If you looked over and there was just some... Oh, yeah, no.
It's like, turn on the light. Oh my God, it's there.
You turn on the light and it fucking illuminates the creepy ass face. Like,
and then it's just still there staring at you. Yeah, that'd be... that'd be awesome.
That would be 1,000% worse. I've never thought of that, actually. But, like, now that I'm thinking about it, that's so much worse.
Yeah, you're hoping it's gone when you look back.
Right?
But if it wasn't...
Well, because I see, like, the fucking shadows out of the corner of my eyes all the fucking time. Especially, like, at work. Like, I'll be working, and I see shit out of the corner of my eyes, and I look thinking that there's people there, and there's never people there. But I swear to God, if I turned and there was just, like, a fucking full shadow person standing there, I would probably...
Pee.
I would pee my pants, and I would probably just melt into a pile of ooze because I would literally die.
Crying and screaming.
Yeah. There'd be no hope.
Yeah, because every time, you know, all the movies, all the stories, like, you look, you see it, you do a double take and it's gone. But what if my shit's like, they do the double take and it's closer? Because that's worse.
Oh, dude, like the angels on Doctor Who. You blink and they move close.
You would bring up Doctor Who.
Shut up, I love Doctor Who. Whatever.
Seriously, though, I'd much rather them disappear.
Now that I think about it, me too.
Yeah.
So over time, many residents have reported strange occurrences in the house. Even though there are no records of the massacre in the mansion, people have reported seeing figures in Oriental clothing and have even claimed to see the Sultan himself dressed in robes and a turban.
Oh, yeah, okay.
People walking past the home have reported hearing the tinkling music and the smell of incense coming from the building while there were no visible lights on inside. So they would hear that Turkish Oriental music and smell those sweet incense, but there's no evidence that there were any Turkish people ever in the home.
Oh man, so it's all freaking mind games.
Right?
Still spooky.
Hell yeah.
I'd be like, is that who brought the Nog Champa?
You'd be so stoked.
I would be. Yeah, I like it, Says. I think it'd be cool.
So there have been reports of veiled faces of the slain members of the harem peering mournfully out the upstairs window.
Aww.
Some have also seen the figure of a man looking out one of the windows towards the French Quarter, only to have him disappear a moment later.
Dun, dun, dun.
So again, one of those things where you see a man in the window and you look back over and he's gone.
Ah.
Creepy, creepy.
Oh.
So then there are more reports of phantom noises. Residents have reported hearing footsteps running around about in a panic or climbing up the stairs.
Ooh, I like the footsteps.
All right.
Because they're terrifying.
Yeah, disembodied footsteps are always horrifying.
Especially if they're running. Ugh.
Yeah. They have also reported hearing shrieks and screams in the middle of the night. That's just terrible.
That's a good vibe check.
Right? Even more disturbingly, people have reported hearing loud thuds throughout the home and have claimed it sounds like body parts hitting the floor.
Of course they, yeah. Sounds like somebody threw an arm.
My question, though, is, okay, so I could imagine what hacking off a body part and throwing it on the floor might sound like, but in reality, I don't know what that sounds like. And I know for a fact that there's a lot of other things that could make a similar noise to a body part thumping on the floor.
Yeah, you drop anything, it's going to make a sound.
Yeah, and so there's other things that you could drop on the floor that may sound like a body part hitting the floor. So how are these people specifically being like, it sounds like body parts hitting the floor?
It's just how people are.
It's because of the story.
Yeah, it's
so
just how people are.
They're like, it must be the body parts. In reality, it could be somebody like me just tripping and falling. And for whatever reason, that energy was trapped and is now a residual haunting. So you just hear me thudding onto the floor every now and then. And then it's like, oh, body parts hitting the floor. Yeah, my body parts of my klutzy ass falling to the ground because I can't walk, apparently.
Danny?
That's how you know. If I die first and you hear thuds, you know it's me trying to scare you, but then tripping over a dog toy and being like, motherfucker.
Now they know I'm here. Darn it. I was trying to scare them.
So I'm not sure if these types of reports are just people wanting the story of the massacre to be true, so they're superimposing the story on what they're experiencing.
Definitely.
Or if it's a good indication that something related to the story actually did happen.
No.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, the 1860s, 1870s, records weren't that well kept. We were getting better about keeping records, but we were still kind of It was a lot easier to do under the table dealings and stuff like that. The only issue I have with the story itself is that there's no newspaper articles about it.
That's what I'm talking about because
if first of all, if anybody of like Turkish descent claiming to be even remotely related to the Sultan showed up, I'm sure there would have been a news report about it.
Yeah.
If a man would have gotten off of a ship accompanied by shitloads of treasure and beautiful women and eunuchs dressed in military uniform carrying bayonets doing this huge parade down the street, they would talk about it in the newspaper for like probably a week and a half. But there's none of that.
Yeah.
The bloody massacre, I mean, how long do we talk about fucking bloody murders nowadays?
Well, and I'm thinking like if this was in the we have records from ancient times.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is like, okay, so maybe Lepre did rent the house out to somebody.
Yeah, maybe.
He just did it under the table, you know, to kind of just hush about it. You know, it wasn't a big deal. Nobody wrote news reports about it or anything. There isn't any records kept because he wanted to keep it off the books or whatever. Okay, maybe. But if a fucking giant parade of fucking treasure and women came marching down the street to go into this mansion, somebody would have written a report and we would have that newspaper report about it. Unless it's a conspiracy. But that's a whole different thing. So, you know, It could be that there are hauntings taking place in this house and people are just superimposing their ideas of the Sultan story over top of what they're experiencing with the home.
Right.
Like maybe there are veiled faces of women looking out the upstairs windows. But are they a part of the Turkish harem?
Or did they die at another time?
Yeah, exactly. Is it maybe just a woman looking for her lost love? Is it maybe a woman who was murdered down the street? Maybe it's a prostitute from a brothel somewhere else in the French Quarter that just for whatever reason is at this house.
I'm going to haunt over there. Yeah.
You know.
It's obviously still haunted.
Oh, yeah.
But how do we know what the haunting is from? Because the records are so bleh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the reports of hauntings do continue past this, though. So I found in a couple of places that there may be a Confederate soldier haunting the building. Huh. Though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him to be there, as there were no Civil War battles fought in the area. Right? I mean,
think so.
It's New Orleans. It's the French Quarter. I don't think that there were really any battles.
I know Vicksburg, and that's like, I don't think that's Louisiana.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's not a huge...
People are going to hate us. The South is just like, you fucking idiots.
But, I mean, there could be a different connection why he maybe, like maybe this soldier is a Civil War Confederate soldier haunting this house. Maybe he just lived somewhere nearby or was some way attached to the mansion. And so after he passed, he came back to the mansion for whatever reason to haunt it, you know, because that stuff can happen.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Technically, there's no rules for ghosts to follow.
Exactly. And if there are, we don't know what they are.
Yeah.
We don't even know if ghosts are actually, like, what we think they are, of, like, spirits that have left the human form and are now in the other world and just that thin veil and whatnot. Maybe they're interdimensional beings, just happen to pop in and out of our fucking dimension occasionally, or it's like glitches in the Matrix. Yeah. There's 100,000 theories on what ghosts are.
Maybe not 100,000.
There's enough theories about what ghosts are that we can't definitively say exactly what a ghost is or whether a ghost exists at all, and therefore there's no limiting what the rules are to where a ghost can haunt, why they have to haunt there, shit like that. I mean, Personally, when I die, my main goal is to fuck with as many ghost hunters as I possibly can. If that means I have to move buildings, I will move buildings. Just getting EVPs of somebody being like, suck my dick. Yeet.
No. No. 20 years, if there's a Ghost Adventure show that's just like, if you're here, please say something right now. Yeet. Did you guys hear that? Oh my god. Some millennial died here.
It's Britney, bitch.
Oh my god. Free Britney.
Anyways, some people have speculated that this may have been one of the Sultan's bodyguards dressed in a gray uniform that people are mistaking for a Confederate soldier.
Right.
So that's another theory as to what the Confederate soldier is or why he's there. Either way, it's really odd for him to be there because, you know, the Sultan story is unconfirmed, and why is there a Confederate soldier in this mansion?
Yeah, it's just a little weird.
Yeah, but...
Not impossible. We're not saying that.
There also may be something dark inside this home. Because, of course, where there's hauntings, there may be something dark.
Let me turn off the lights.
No. I'm scared. So one resident reported... I hate this part.
Ooh, that means I'm gonna love it.
No.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit.
One resident reported that while he was on the way down the stairs to do some laundry, when he witnessed his dog literally shoved down the stairs by an unseen force.
What a piece piece of shit.
This dog also refuses to enter the living room of his apartment. The only way that he will go into the living room is if his owner picks him up and carries him into the living room.
No.
And even then, he doesn't like it
You
in
know
there.
that's a bad sign.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if a dog doesn't trust an area of your home, if any pet doesn't trust an area of your home, you as well should not trust that area of your home.
Yeah.
Also, if something literally pushes your dog down the
That'd make me
stairs...
so mad. Oh, man. I'd be the total hothead that's like, I'm going to fight a ghost right now. Come here. Fist up, bitch.
Go from 0 to Zach Baggins in like 0.2 seconds. I'm going to fight a ghost.
Oh, let me take my tap out shirt off. Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's affliction, Bryan. Affliction.
He doesn't need those glasses.
Hey, you don't know that.
He might. And I just made an ass of myself, and he's going to find me. Word fucked.
He's going to find you and open the book box in front of you and
start laughing. Oh, the fuck?
Just brings the
Opens
Annabelle.
it, throws it in our house. You guys.
Just brings the Annabelle doll over and is like, have fun, motherfuckers.
Sorry, Zach. Baggins. Sorry.
I do like Zach Baggins. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes he can be a douche, but I do like him.
Don't call the guy who's got a bunch of haunted shit at his house a douche.
Everybody's a douche, though. I'm a douche.
Jeez. Oh, you just called me a douche.
But anyways, ghosts and other humans don't fuck with a dog. You're evil if you fuck with dogs.
Yeah, already.
I feel bad for this pupper.
Poor pupper.
Poor pupper. So yeah, this definitely points to something dark in the home, though.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Well, if it has enough energy to push something else that's living, that's a strong entity.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around for a while. It's manifested enough power to do that.
Yeah.
Which means it can manifest enough power to do something else like that.
Mm-hmm. It's just building.
Poor pupper.
Our thoughts go out to the doggy. I'm sorry,
Praise
I love
be to
dogs.
him.
So I also read in one article that there was a woman on the upper floor balcony hanging laundry when she fell to her death on the street below.
Dude.
This was blamed on, quote, vengeful spirits, but I did only find this in one article, so I'm not sure of the validity of the story.
Even if she's just hanging laundry.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything related to a falling death at the mansion.
Well, we're just going to say that it didn't happen.
Yeah. It is also difficult to look up this house without being inundated by stories of the Sultan.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to research literally anything, like you put in the address, the Grede Le Pre, anything else to try to look up information about this mansion, and literally everything is going to be like, oh, you mean the Sultan and his massacre?
Yeah.
No, bitch, I want to know, did a woman fall off the top balcony and die?
The other things.
You mean all the women that were murdered? No.
The one specific one.
The one lady.
The laundry hanging lady.
Because, yeah, I wanted to see, first of all, if the claim is even true in the first place, that there was a woman that did fall off the top balcony and die. And if she did, you know.
I want to know.
You know, that's the thing, is like, did she trip and fall? Did she jump? Or was she pushed? But if she was pushed off the balcony, it could have been this dark spirit that pushed the dog down the stairs.
Someone's got a pushing fetish.
Awkward.
That's what I like to see.
So the current owner of the Sultan's Palace, I believe, is still a woman named Nina Nivens. I'm pretty sure she's still the current owner. Everything that I read said that she still is.
Okay.
She said that she fell in love with the property as soon as she saw it, but was worried that what she was getting herself into when everybody called it, quote, a harem of horror.
Oh.
She did some research about the house and came to the conclusion the conclusion that she doesn't believe in the story of the massacre.
Okay.
She does admit, however, that there are strange occurrences in the building. She has noticed that keys will mysteriously go missing and usually won't ever be seen again. And if they do reappear, it's never in the place they disappeared from.
Freaking entities, man.
That's typical ghosty stuff.
You need your car keys? Too bad.
That's either ghosts or, like, other, like, little creatures.
They're known as fairies.
Fairies.
Pixies.
Goblins.
Elves. Sorry.
But, yeah.
That's so interesting, though. I mean, I don't really believe in the harem thing either, but I could definitely see that it's still haunted. It's still.
It's in New Orleans. It's
in an old. It's
in the
older.
French Quarter of New Orleans. It's one of the oldest areas of the city.
Yeah.
So 100%, this place is most likely haunted because even though the building wasn't built until when did I say?
The 1836?
I think so. I think that's... 1836. Yeah. Even though it wasn't built until then...
I've been listening.
There's still other things connected to the property. There's still...
Definitely.
I'm sure there was a different building on that property at some point. There was probably...
Well, and what Native American tribe lived there first?
Exactly. And, are there bodies buried nearby? Shit like that. Like, there's so much activity in the city of New Orleans, especially the French Quarter, that like whether or not the massacre, the Sultan story is real, this place is still gonna be haunted as fuck.
Yeah, it's still gonna have that spiritual energy for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So she does say that she never really feels alone in the building. She always feels like there's somebody there. So she does admit that there's weird shit going on.
There's something happening.
Yeah, she's never quite alone, but she doesn't believe the story of the Sultan and the giant massacre and all that jazz.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe it. I think there was good enough records that something would have been.
Honestly, me too. Like I said, the newspaper alone would have reported something.
I'm still 100% okay with it being called the Sultan's Palace, though.
It's a good story.
I like it. I think it's a fun story.
Yeah. So, whether the story of the massacre of the Sultan and his harem is true, or is just an inflated story passed down for generations, there's definitely something spooky going on in the home at 716 Dauphine Street. I did, out of curiosity, look on Zillow. Sorry.
I was like, what the fuck is Zillow?
I did look on Zillow to see if there were any availabilities in this home for an apartment.
Ooh.
I did find one.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful. It's definitely been updated. It has a really nice kitchen and bathroom. It's a 2-bed, 1.5 bath unit.
Okay.
Do you want to know how much it is?
Yep.
$2,300 a month.
Oh my god. For a 2-bedroom apartment?
Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful though.
Well, and it better be.
It is in the French Quarter in New Orleans. So like
man, $2,300.
Yeah.
It's more than I make a month. Oh shit.
So I do want to mention a couple of other creepy places that I found that are near the Sultan's Palace.
Yes.
So, I found these, checking out a website called nola.curbed.com. On this website, I found a map literally called Creepy Spots in New Orleans and thought it was kind of cool to see where some of these places are located in relation to the Sultan's Palace.
Ooh, shit.
So, I'm going to list a couple.
All right, let's do it.
So, one spot that's literally just a few blocks down the road from the mansion is Jackson Square.
Okay.
It is a very beautiful area with a very dark past.
Ooh.
This was the site for public executions in the 18th and 19th centuries. There were more than 100 enslaved people executed here after the 1811 German Coast Uprising, the country's longest slave revolt.
Holy shit.
The bodies were left to rot in the square while their heads were placed on the city gates.
So much bad energy. Oh.
100%.
Oh.
Not only did they kill all these people, but they left them to rot, which is a huge sign of disrespect to a body.
So much.
Unless the body asks specifically to be left to rot, like those of us who want to go to the body farm.
Yeah, but I don't think...
But, like, if I'm straight up murdered and then my corpse is just left there, I'm gonna be upset.
Only if you're enslaved and then murdered and then displayed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure your ghost is gonna be like, well, guess what?
Yeah.
I'm picking your family and I'm haunting you for the rest of your eternity.
Either that or I'm just gonna stay in Jackson Square and be super sad and cry all the time. And fuck with people who come near me.
See, I'd be... Oh... I wouldn't be, like, malevolent.
You would definitely go vengeful spirit route.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I feel like you'd be kind of like...
I see a fancy vase, I'm pushing it off the ledge.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like you would kind of... You could easily fall into that role that Bobby falls into on Supernatural. After he dies.
Oh, yeah, Bobby.
Yeah. And after he dies, he sticks around because he wants to help. But then, like, the anger just keeps getting to him and piling on until finally he, like, pushes over that edge to become vengeful spirit and, like...
Possesses somebody.
Yeah, and, like, goes a little bit too far and shit. Like, I feel like that's kind of the role that you would fall into is, like, you would stay to kind of have good intentions, maybe.
No. Okay, maybe depending on how I died.
Yeah.
But vengeful spirit shit, 100%. Oh my god.
You would just reach a point where you would get so frustrated that you would just be like, fuck this!
I wouldn't attack your animals, so I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, no, I would...
But I'd make you cry at night. And when you do... look away to turn on the light, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to stay right there.
Creepy.
Yeah, I'm going to be that motherfucker. I'm still here.
God. So, just a few blocks over from Jackson Square is the New Orleans Pharmacy Museum.
Ooh.
This is where America's first licensed pharmacist practiced. He enjoyed performing exploratory surgeries, especially on women, and his tools are still on display.
Of course.
Of course, he was a super giant creepy creep.
Yeah, all I want to do is just, cut open women and check them out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It doesn't sound like a serial killer or anything. Hi, Ted Bundy. His ghost is also said to haunt the third floor, and employees have reported hearing groans in the building. And right around the corner from this is a hotel called the Omni Royal Orleans. This building was reportedly built on the site of a former slave market and has been reported haunted by many of its guests.
Yeah, I bet.
This is actually a very beautiful and ornate building, and even if there isn't anyone haunting it, it would still be a great place to see, just because the photos of the lobby that I saw were so beautiful.
I'd like to go, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely gorgeous. And then, of course, there's the infamous La Laurie mansion on Royal Street, which we will most likely cover at a later date since it's a huge,
no spoilers,
fucked up story.
No spoilers.
Yes.
I'm excited for that later.
Yes, me too. It's sad, but juicy.
We'll get through it.
So there's also a bunch of really cool museums in the area that personally I would like to one day visit.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, hint. So there's the Voodoo Museum.
Ooh.
The Mardi Gras Museum of Costumes and Culture.
Ooh.
Which, who doesn't love a good cultural museum? Like,
Well, yeah.
Cultural museums are amazing.
Especially when it's not your culture. You get to go look at other things and learn new cultures and stuff.
I love exploring culture and learning about other people's culture.
That voodoo one sounds interesting. Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's the Museum of Death, which features funeral practices and criminal memorabilia.
Ooh.
That's right
I
up my
want to see
alley.
that, too. That'd be really cool. Especially the practices part. Or, what'd you say?
Funeral practices.
Funeral practices. Never mind. All right.
And, of course, it's New Orleans, so there's the New Orleans Jazz Museum, which would just... Oh, that would be so incredible. It'd be such a cool fucking...
Been to Louisiana.
Right? Damn. Like, why haven't we gone here yet and seen all these cool places? Because, like, you know me, I love museums.
Yeah, you'd like it if it wasn't in the summer.
Oh, 100%.
We'd have to go in like January or February.
Yeah, no.
When it's still 80 out.
Yeah, that's even a little too hot for my blood. 62 to 65. That's a good range for me.
I wish you could go back in time to when I went to South Carolina in June. It's the worst sunburn I've ever gotten in my life.
I lived for 21 years in Salt Lake City, Utah. I experienced Salt Lake City summers. One of those summers I spent in southern Utah. I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Yeah, it's still so different.
I've experienced like 110 or plus
is that
heat.
Is that all dry heat?
It is very dry heat.
See,
exactly. I can't handle the dry heat, and like I can't handle humidity that well. Like living up here, I struggle with humidity a little bit in the summertime.
So I think I liked it.
Yeah.
I've had, cold humidity my entire life, and then I go somewhere that's hot with humidity.
Well, I think that's why you liked Hawaii too.
Feels like a blanket all over you.
Just feels like grimy sweat.
Why doesn't it bother me?
I don't know.
Anyway, back to ghost stories.
But yeah, this is what I have on the Sultan's Palace.
You just made me want to go to the South again so bad. That's all I want to do. All I want to do is go to New Orleans and just walk around downtown in the middle of the day, sweating, and just be like, this feels nice.
Yeah, I want to go. I just want to go and see places.
Oh, man. You know what?
I want to go to museums.
I think this was a pretty cool story.
It is. It's an interesting story.
I kind of like that it's still called the Sultan's Palace, even though it's pretty much for sure that didn't happen. But
it's a good sensational tale.
Yeah, it really
it's definitely one of those ones like that just grabs you and kind of
it just brings you in immediately.
Yeah.
A sultan's coming to New Orleans? The fuck?
Yeah. And then like the whole intrigue of like, oh, it wasn't the Sultan, it was his brother who absconded with his wealth and women. And then the Sultan exacted his revenge by murdering everybody.
Even though I don't think the Sultan, the real Sultan, would have the harem killed. I'm sure his brother, but I think he'd be like, get the fuck back here.
No, he totally would have the harem killed because...
Oh, well, if your brother's sleeping with your harem.
Exactly.
Tainted.
We're
all tainted.
Even if they were kidnapped, they still, betrayed the Sultan himself by allowing another man to touch them. By God. What do you think they are, heathens? Ugh.
Heathens? Oh, man.
But that's why he couldn't win as a woman. Because, most likely, maybe some of the women left of their own accord to get away from the Sultan and thought that the brother was better. Maybe they loved the brother more. But at least a few of those girls didn't really want to go and were probably forced to go by either the other women of the harem or, a eunuch with a gun. And then they get killed anyways. And
brutally.
Yeah. There's also, other stories that claim that, young women and young boys in the area would go missing, and they were obviously being brought into the house and turned into sex slaves and shit like that. But again, the whole thing is just a story. There's so many different versions of the story that, of course, any salacious detail that you could throw into a story like this is going to get tossed in by somebody at some point.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
of course, it's, oh, a great sultan with great amounts of wealth came to New Orleans. Oh, it wasn't the sultan, it was his brother who absconded with the wealth. Oh, it was a huge massacre. Oh, he was buried alive in the garden. Oh, they stole children. Oh, they did opium.
Makes for a better story, especially if you're trying to sell a book.
It does. It just builds and builds, and then, it gets people interested in the property and things like that. It's a good
story.
It's just a good tale.
Yeah. I do still think that there's something negative there, especially if dogs are getting pushed.
Oh, 100%. If a dog is afraid to go into a room, something not good is in there.
Yeah, and you should smudge that shit out.
Or just move.
See, that's what all the girls say. Just move away. No, you don't back down.
I mean, you can back down.
You're the one that's alive.
Sometimes it's smarter to back down.
I mean, sure. Well, awesome. This was freaking cool.
Yeah, so did you have personal stories to share this week?
Yeah.
Since we don't have any listener stories
still. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I could tell. I could tell a story. Yeah.
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 So, the story I've got for you today is a continuation of the last story I told.
Yes.
In Darrington.
Yes.
I'm going to call this one The Bridge. And it takes place on a bridge.
What?
Yeah, on a bridge above a log chute.
So not inside of a Walmart.
No.
What the fuck?
I know I led that to be the belief.
This is a bigger catastrophe than the Sultan's murder. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So this bridge is in Darrington, up in the hills, up a logging road, right above a log chute. And if anybody knows what a log chute is, it's basically like a stream or a waterfall where they send the logs down to eventually get caught in a pond so that they can go towards the mill. And the mill will get them. You know the mill? How I talked about the mill? Uh-huh. So anyway, This bridge is right over a log chute where people have fallen in, drowned, or been crushed by logs.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so there's some death.
Yeah, that takes the flume
bridge.
ride to a whole new level at amusement parks, those log rides.
Yeah. People usually don't die on those. But this place was definitely had some deaths. I don't know how many exactly. I don't even know the road that the bridge is on because the only time I've been to this spot is in the middle of the night, directly after we left the mill. We went straight to the bridge.
Right.
So it's me, Zach, my haunted buddy, Patrick, M, and a Doc. I'm pretty sure Doc's there, and the other guy who took the doll from the mill.
Right.
Yeah. So the first thing we decide to do when we get there, so there's kind of like this lower spot where you can go like down on next to the river / chute itself, and there's a spot across the bridge for parking and stuff. It's not really for parking, but it's a big enough area to pull off to the side and let logging trucks go by. Mm-hmm. So that's where we parked all our cars, and then we walked across the bridge to go down to the thing, and we were just down there chilling, and I decided to take a photo of Zach, Patrick, and the other guy. I can't remember his name, and I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And, I just took the picture, and I didn't even look at it. I just took it. And then later, the next day, I looked at it. And the only thing you see is Zach, Patrick, and then the other guy. But behind Zach, there is kind of a grayish white fuzz. That's not, it's weird because behind the other guy and Patrick is just blackness because it's night.
Yeah.
But the flash caught something behind Zach, and all you can see is this really tall figure with like the markings of facial expressions. Like it has just black spots for eyes and a black spot for a mouth. Otherwise, it's just there.
Gross.
I should say before I get into the story, this is one of the most unexplained things that I have gone through. One of the funnest, scariest, but definitely something that I can't explain. Like there's no scientific explanation for what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So we split off into groups, and not big groups. Em and Doc do their own thing. Zach and me do our own thing, and then like Patrick and the other guy do their own thing. And we all have recorders, and we all take turns going to different spots and just recording, asking questions and stuff. And the people who got the most response was Zach and I. Every single question we asked, we would ask the question and then just wait, because you can't hear it.
No, you don't.
When it's happening.
Occasionally you can hear something, but like
and
most of the time, yeah, you don't hear it live.
And something did happen where I did kind of hear it, because at one point Zach and I are sitting on the hood of our cars with the woods to our backs.
Gross, why?
Well, you know.
That's like super scary.
And we decided to just bring out the recorder because the other people are out on the bridge taking recordings. And they're just out there talking. And so Zach and I decided to take our recorder and ask questions. And we're asking random questions. And one of the first things that starts really freaking us out is we get this weird feeling that, you know, the feeling of you're being watched.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I get that feeling often.
Yeah, I know you do. We're sitting on the car, and Zach asks it, "Where are you now?" And then, sorry, this gives me goosebumps still. So the way the recording is, you can record, and then you could play back immediately what you just said.
Well, yeah, that's how voice recorders work.
Yeah. People get it. I don't need to explain that. So he asked the question, and when he asked that question, all of a sudden, I feel this cold right behind me. And then something moved, and I flipped around and was like, what the heck was that? And in the recording, what you hear is Zach going, "Where are you right now?" And in this deep, low, guttural growl, you hear, "Behind."
Gross.
And that's
no.
And then you hear me immediately go, "What the fuck was that?"
Oh.
That's how the recording went, and that is one of the craziest things that I've ever had happen to me. And it's really scary when you play that and then you immediately listen to it right there, because you're like, oh my fucking God.
Well, it's super creepy when you feel like something's watching you and then you're like, hey, where are you? And then you re-listen to the audio and it's like behind, and you're like, whoa, okay, I'm going to go jump off this bridge now.
So this is where things start getting wild.
Oh, this is where things get wild. No,
yeah, well, because we went back out on the bridge and got more recordings after that. Because we took turns. Me and the groups took turns on the bridge, at the cars, down below, on the bridge, at the car. So that freaked me and Zach out, but not bad enough to make us want to leave. So I want to explain the voice. You know, I want to explain the voices on the recording, because this thing had multiple. One of them was a little girl's voice that constantly was just saying, "I want my dolly back. I want my dolly back."
That's not a little girl ghost.
That's all that one would said. And then there was a regular man's voice who was just basically babbling. Just babbling. And then there was the raspy, deep, growling voice. And all these were mixed into one. If you asked one specifically, yeah, it would answer. But they were all usually mixed.
That's weird.
And we just started asking this thing questions. And it just kept getting darker and darker to the point where we started asking, you know, what does it want? And this is where things got out of hand.
Yeah,
I can't explain this. I can't. I can just tell you what I heard on a recording that night, and then the next day after it was put onto our onto the computer and listened to it with even better quality. We started asking it what it wanted, and it said blood.
Gross. No.
And
run away.
When it said blood, that's when everybody's faces changed. Everybody started getting nervous. And then it even went further. It wanted all of Zach's blood.
No,
it
that's
wanted
not
us,
okay.
It wanted us to do a sacrificial ceremony and kill Zach.
No.
This is the first time I've ever seen Zach start to like panic. He started kind of freaking out, getting really worried, as one would do.
Well, yeah, okay. It wants you to spill all your blood, and you're just like, cool, bro, no problem.
Just all on the bridge. And we asked it if it was from the bridge, and it said no. It had followed us there.
Ew.
From the mill. Its regular spot was the mill. It followed us because the guy took the doll.
Yep, that's why you don't take things from haunted locations.
Yeah, but if you don't get shit like this happening.
That's why you don't do it. Because then it follows you to your house and then it's like, ooh, I like it here.
So we ask it all of Zach's blood? And it repeats, yes, I want all of Zach's blood. I want a certain amount of droplets from you. I want a certain amount of droplets from you. It wanted 5 people to cut themselves and drip their blood in a star pattern with Zach in the middle slitting his throat.
That's gross.
This is it didn't want anything from me, lucky. It told me that I couldn't help in the ceremony at all, that I needed to leave because it didn't want my blood. It was too pure. I'm just paraphrasing.
Okay, getting cocky now.
So this really freaked Zach and everybody else out.
Well, no shit.
And I was also freaked out because I had never heard voices like that before in my life, especially say things like that.
Well, for a blood offering, yeah, for real.
As soon as it said that, that's the first time I think I saw Zach actually have like a panic attack and like kind of start hyperventilating and breathing irregularly. Like he got scared. I felt bad for my friend getting terrified. So when he said, let's leave, I was 100% down. I was like, yeah, we should probably get out of here.
Smart.
They did eventually return the doll. They put the doll back in the mill.
Smart.
We apologized for offending it, even though it just got mad that we were leaving. It was a really weird drive down from the bridge.
I bet.
With things looked like they were chasing us down the way.
Ew, what?
In the woods, you see it's dark out, so you can't really see anything.
Yeah,
but your headlights illuminate things, and the mind can play tricks. I'm not denying any of that. It's just this was one of the scariest nights I've ever had, and it's still one of the most unexplained things that I have ever gone through.
That's just so creepy, though.
I'm not trying to just scare people. I'm just trying to tell you what I experienced myself, and you can believe me or not. It's not going to change anything. Personally, I'd love to go back to that bridge. I would love to go and do recordings myself without Zach, see if I can get anything of the similar thing.
Well, I mean, if that dark entity is connected to the doll, then without the doll, you might not get anything.
Hopefully. I'm hoping that the dark entity mixed with all the voices was connected to the doll, because the dark entity didn't care about the doll. The girl did, but I'm worried that thing followed Zach. That's what I was worried about, is that what we talked to was the very thing that was with him from the beginning. And that's what I'm worried about.
Unsettling and creepy.
So Zach, when you listen to this episode, call
Zach.
me. I'll call me. We'll talk.
Oh man, it's
Love you,
so
bro.
creepy.
I really that's my the bridge story. That's my experience.
See,
that's one of the most haunted experiences I've ever had to this day. And it's one of the most unexplained, and I tell it how it is, and it still blows my mind.
That's super creepy. Like, I've had an experience with, like, going, like, quote-unquote ghost hunting, and, like, something chasing me away, like making sure I left.
Yeah,
And, like,
something that's like, this is my territory.
Yeah.
This thing, when it said what it wanted, we knew we had something that was
Not okay.
Yeah, and when you hear that, what it wants, you get that just emptiness pit in your stomach feeling.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
That was there. I had that the entire time we were at the bridge. I didn't have it at the mill. But an hour later at the bridge, I could not make it go away.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Anyway, that's my Darrington stories. It's a little town in Washington, Darrington, Washington.
Yay.
It was, I think it recently had that mudslide happen that just
that's what you mentioned.
took it out. I'd love to go back. I would love to go back and re-explore. The mill is private property and it's trespassing, but the bridge is not. People can drive up past that bridge no matter what. It's just a bridge.
Yeah. Well, it's like all the suicide bridges, everywhere in the world.
I would love to get Zach back up here and go with him and do it because
No.
I don't know why, but this stuff doesn't scare me as much.
You like the creepy
I get
stuff.
a huge adrenaline rush when I feel that there is danger near or fear.
Well, I mean, of course you're going to get an adrenaline rush when there's danger near because, like, literally that's nature.
And then I just fucking feed off that adrenaline. I'm just like, yeah. Well,
that's what you're supposed to do as a human. That's how you, like, run away from danger. The fight or flight type of deal,
Exactly.
Like, that's what adrenaline is your body kicking into overdrive to be like, I need the energy in this quick spurt to, like, run faster or fight better so that I can GTFO and get away from this thing that's trying to murder me.
I hope you enjoyed that tale of mine.
It's super creepy.
Talk shit. I don't care.
This is a safe space, so, like, we don't talk shit about people's stories.
Yeah, exactly. That's
what this is. This is a safe space for creepy tales because we all like creepy shit.
I'm a skeptic about certain things, but most of the time I'm a believer because the things that just that right there that night at the bridge.
Well, I mean, there's experiences that, like, you and I have had, of our own experiences, like, not necessarily together. But there's things that we have experienced in this world that just points to something is going on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's not, the extent of, like, cryptids and conspiracy theories that, like, get out into the world. But, like, definitely feel like there's some sort of, like, alien thing happening. Don't know if I believe as far as, like, the whole reptiles trying to eat humanity thing. And, all the famous people that they claim are reptiles. But, I mean, the universe is too vast to not believe that there's some sort of alien life out there. Yeah. I also believe in ghosts because I've had odd experiences in my life.
Yep.
And I've experienced things that I shouldn't have. At a young age, I knew things that I shouldn't have known about. I mean, I had imaginary friends, and how imaginary were those imaginary friends?
Yeah. I can't wait to talk to Zach.
Yeah, and, one of these days, like, I think next week I'll probably share one of my creepy stories. I don't have as many as Bryan, and mine definitely are not as in-depth and intense as Bryan's. But I definitely do have, some experiences, and my mom has experiences that, if she allows me, I might share. So, yeah, but this was a fun one.
Yeah, I can't believe I just told that story to everybody.
It's creepy.
I'm gonna get weird looks at work.
Yeah, that's okay though.
Well,
this is a judgment-free zone, everybody. We don't judge for ghost stories. Dottie's shaking her head, so sorry for all that noise.
You want to hear her?
Are you sniffing the microphone? Okay. All right, so as usual, you guys can find us on our social medias. We have Instagram, Twitter. We have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. You can just search for Another Nightmare Podcast, and you'll find us on any of those platforms. You can search for me. I am at Ofakya. That's Ofakya on literally everything. We are still looking for listener stories. We have exactly 0 at this point in time. So, if you are listening and you would like one of your creepy personal experiences to be shared on the podcast, you can send it to us to our email, anothernightmarepod@gmail.com. That's anothernightmarepod, all one word, @gmail.com. Or, you could DM us on social media, whatever. We just would like to share your guys' creepy stories because I think the personal experiences kind of add a little bit more flavor to the tales. Because it's one thing to sit here and regurgitate information about, the Sultan's palace, but like if people have their own personal creepy experiences, it's a little bit more fun.
Yep.
So then you guys can learn the history and creepy, spectacular things about a certain location or a certain story, and then you get a personal story of like somebody being like, hey, creepy shit actually happened to me for reals.
Yep.
So guys, send us your stories so that we can share them.
Please do.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yeah, we love you, and we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and our theme song, of course, is by Rob.
Good old Rob.
You can look him up on Instagram at insert nickname _
She got it.
There we go. He does have an album coming up, A Myriad of Mayhem, and we thank him so much.
Thanks, Rob,
for making our intro. It's so great and creepy.
All right. I hope you guys have a good night.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.